Good evening. Thank you for joining our show this evening. I'm Kathy Monroe, and I'm Executive Director of the Berks County Area Agency on Aging. Even though I'm ending that tenure this evening, and sitting to the left of me will be our new Interim Executive Director, Diane DeHusky, effective tomorrow. Thank you for joining Aging Matters. Tonight we will be discussing programs and services offered by Berks County Area Agency on Aging. And I have along with Diane, Dennis Scalise, who is our intake and referral supervisor. Thank you both for joining me this evening. I feel very comfortable being around my colleagues on my last evening being on the show. We want to make a couple of announcements at this time. Number one, I would like to talk about our Berks County Aging Disability and Resource Center link and a cross-training that's coming up. It's the Affordable Care Act. What does it mean for you? And it's going to be Tuesday, October 22nd, 2013 at 9 a.m. And the presenter of that workshop will be Dorothy Hartman, who's the Vice President of Community Based Aging Services from Berks Encore. And this is going to be held at the Berks County Community Foundation at 237 Court Street in Reading, Pennsylvania. This evening we're going to talk a little bit about, as I said, aging services and different programs that we have. We have one program that's getting ready to end. It started actually in June. It's our Farmers Market Nutrition Program, and there were four $5 vouchers that you were eligible to receive if you met a certain requirement, one of them being at least 60 years of age and older. And these vouchers were distributed in many different ways through the housing authorities, senior centers, and by coming into our office. And you could utilize these. You could actually pick them up between June and September 30, and they must be used before November 30. So I'm encouraging everyone who has a Farmer Market Nutrition Program voucher to please use them by no later than November 30. Because if you do not use them, that means that's less that our county will be able to receive from the Department of Agriculture next year at the same time. Dennis, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you're involved with as far as being the intake and referral supervisor. I know we have a cold season coming up, and there's some other things that you might want to talk about other than the heating program and weatherization. I'm going to defer to you at this time.
Well, as the intake supervisor, I'm responsible for all the incoming calls, emails, letters, whatever comes into the agency to be either dispersed or answered comes through the intake unit. We actually began to receive calls about the winter weather, I would say about a month ago. People calling about LIHEAP. LIHEAP usually begins around November 1st. We do not have the new eligibilities at this moment, nor do we have the applications. And I believe, and I can check on this, I believe you can get the application online. I believe compass.gov really does have that application online. But it begins usually November 1st. You also might want to consider BCAP, the Berks County Action Program, their weatherization program, because that really is helpful. You know, you may be heating a house that has windows and doors that are just letting the heat go out, and you're not getting the benefit of the heat you're paying for. So this is sometimes a good program to take advantage of. We get, on an average, about 100 to 150 calls a day. And it's amazing how many people, do not know about the programs out there. So this is that's what we like to talk about here, just to let them know there are many, many programs that are very helpful to seniors to keep them in their homes. Do you want me to go on?
Well, at this time I would kind of like Diane to talk a little bit about how does a person actually make that initial contact with our agency.
Okay. Actually, what can happen is we get referrals for individuals for services from a variety of places. They may come from physicians' offices, they may come from emergency medical technician people, they can come from neighbors, they can come from the people themselves, they can come from family members, really searching out a way to help people to remain in their home. And that's what we have to offer. Typically what will happen is intake is the first point of contact, and from intake it's determined whether or not our office would be in need of doing what we know as a comprehensive assessment on the individual. And what will happen is we then transfer this information over to the assessment unit in our office. And I just did statistics today, so it's a good time. For the last fiscal year, we did over 2,700 assessments.
Wow.
And what we then do is to determine what level of care the individuals need. Are they nursing facility clinically eligible? Are they nursing facility ineligible? And really by that determination, we then know kind of where to channel them. There's a variety of programs that they may then be entered into. And one of those programs, one of our subcontracted agencies provide what is known as our options program. I have to say it's an exciting time for options because it appears that we are in the midst of potentially being able to take some people off of a waiting list that we have. That's with some increased support from the state, and we are, waiting to see that that does happen. But that will give us the opportunity to serve more and more residents of Berks County.
Diane, as we talk about these different programs and services, I think what it does is it lets people know. A lot of times when people think Berks County Area Agency on Aging, they think, uh-oh. They don't want to contact us for services because they think what we're going to do is refer them to maybe a nursing facility or an assisted living facility. But, our primary goal is to try to keep individuals at home as long as they possibly can by putting these services that you're getting ready to speak about in place. And the other myth that individuals have is that we only serve people of a certain income bracket when basically we will attempt to serve anyone who calls. And as you begin to talk about the options program, you can see that not everybody may be able to participate in one of our other waiver programs,
Yes.
but with options where there's actually some cost sharing that's involved. When you talk about waiting lists, with the options program right now, we probably have maybe a good 800 to 900 individuals that may be participating in that program. But yet there's about 122 or so that might be on a waiting list for services. And what Diane has alluded to is that now we're getting that financial support from the state that's coming in to remove these people off of the waiting list and to be able to put services in the home for them. So tell us about some of those services.
Well, actually, again, what happens is the Berks Visiting Nurse Association does provide the care management services for these individuals that are on the options program. And they will develop an individual service plan for each person that comes onto the options program, and it can include anything from home delivered meals to personal care to home support. There are individuals that are in need of adult daycare, perhaps because of some cognitive issues, and they have, they may be taken care of the majority of time by family members, but there's family members that are working or need to perform any number of daily routine activities. So people end up getting service from adult daycares.
Okay. All right. And when you talked about personal care, that's when there's possibly an aide that can go into the home and help that person with their, what we call their activities of daily living, you know, helping them get dressed and maybe bathing and maybe some light meal preparation and that type of thing.
Yes.
And with our adult daily living centers, or also known as adult daycare centers, the advantage there also is sometimes we have individuals who are dealing with people who may have persons with dementia or some other type of cognitive issues. So they have a place where they can go and not only receive the care of maybe managing their medications or help with their with other activities of daily living, but some socialization and stimulation around them as well.
Yes.
And this can either be a half day or it could even either be a full day as well.
Yes.
Now, what is the difference? I know what the difference is between the options program and the aging waiver program, but let's talk a little bit about the aging waiver program.
Well, actually, in the aging waiver program, in order to be eligible, you need to be eligible both clinically and financially. And it is designed to assist those people that are somewhat lower income individuals with limited assets. These people need to be nursing facility clinically eligible, which means basically that they qualify to be in a nursing facility, but they're choosing to remain in their homes.
Okay. Diane, can we just take a second? We have a home viewer. Home viewer, go ahead, please.
Hi, Kathy. This is Secretary Brian Duke. How are you?
Hi, Brian. How are you doing?
Well, I'm calling today as part of your show, and I know it's a special one for you, to first thank you for everything you've done for the citizens of Berks County. I know the older residents there truly are part of our mission of improving the quality of life, and you've been a significant part of that.
Thank you so much, Brian. That's
If we-
quite an honor to hear that from our secretary.
Oh, great. And if we think about the mission of the Berks County Area Agency on Aging and empowering people with self-determination and advocating for their rights and promoting the highest level of independence, we think of the hard work of you and the entire team at the Berks County Area Agency on Aging. I remember visits we did together. You participated, I think, with me with Berks Encore with their Meals on Wheels program
That
and
is
meals
correct.
delivery. I
Yes.
recall a visit to La Casa de la Amistad
Yes.
with our Hispanic brothers and sisters as they celebrated at their senior center and are active there each and every day. I think of the Senior Centers Without Walls that take
Yes.
place in Berks County now, and many other activities just in addition to the regular services the area agency offers, and your leadership has been evident in all of those, and we want to thank you for that and wish you well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. It's great to hear from you.
Oh, great. Well, I hope the rest of the show goes well. Be well, Kathy.
Thank
Okay.
you. You do the same.
All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Our Pennsylvania Secretary of Aging, Brian Duke. That was wonderful having him to call in to offer his encouragement and support of the Berks County Area Agency on Aging.
And I think it was great that he called to thank you. And I would like to thank you, and I know Dennis would like to thank you also for all the hard work and dedication these last years that you have put into making things better for people here in Berks County.
Thank you. Thank you. Couldn't do it without the team that we have in place, though.
Well, we do have a great team.
We do. We do. Indeed. Yes. Now, we were in the middle of aging waiver.
And actually, kind of going back to aging waiver, again, there's a variety of services that can be provided to the people that qualify, both financially and clinically. They can be anything from getting assistance with personal care or adult daycare.
Right.
They can have an individual, they can hire someone to come in and assist them with meals, with personal care, any number of things to help to keep them at home.
And when we talk about hiring someone, that person can be someone that they know.
Yes.
It could be a relative, a neighbor, or
Yes.
someone that they trust to be able to handle their care.
Right.
We're going to talk a little more about some of these other services. I have a favorite one that I want to talk about a little bit about as soon as we come back from our break.
You're watching bctv.org. Be informed, be involved, be a member. For membership information, go to www.bctv.org/support/membership. For other stories and information, go to bctv.org.
Just a reminder, folks, of BCTV's 20th annual Oktoberfest auction. Monday, October 21st, televised live from the Crown Plaza, Reading. There will be refreshments and a cash bar. Tuesday, October 22nd, and Wednesday, October 23rd, televised live from BCT Studios. New online auction will have different items than the televised auction. It will start Monday, October 21st, and will end Monday, October 28th. Call BCTV to register to bid.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
Yes.
One of my favorite ones is when individuals are at home and they're living alone and they have long periods of time that they may be by themselves, even if they do have a caregiver that may be working. It's the personal emergency response system. Mm-hmm. I just think that is one of the best things that a person could have in place, that they can wear a necklace around their neck or a bracelet, and if they get into some trouble, maybe if they have a fall or need some other type of assistance, they can actually press the button and, you know, help comes on immediately to ask them what the problem is and stays with them until someone comes there for help. So I think that's one of the my favorite things that the Aging Waiver Program, you know, offers as well.
And actually, the personal emergency response system also gives families peace of mind.
It sure does. Mm-hmm. It does.
So they know that when they do need to leave the home, that there will always be someone that can help this individual. Mm-hmm. So.
All right. And what else do you have to say about Aging Waiver?
At the present time, and again, as I stated earlier, I was doing statistics today, and I can tell you that we have approximately 425 active waiver consumers. We have what I referred to as approximately 100 people in the pipeline that are waiting at any stage that will be coming on to the service, and I believe that when we talk to older individuals, everybody wants to stay at home. There's very few people that don't want to remain at home,
Right.
and this really provides them the opportunity to do that.
Right.
If there are times when an individual, even on this program, would perhaps need some short-term rehab, they can go into a nursing facility, you know, on a very short-term basis.
Just for some strengthening,
yes,
and that type of thing. Mm-hmm.
But then they return home, and we certainly can do that with no break in service, and the person, again, remains where they want to be.
Right. We have some other exciting things, and I think, Dennis, you work hand in hand with our community outreach manager, and who's over like our ombudsman program. Let's talk about ombudsman. Well, that's a big word. Yeah. It's a Swedish word, and it means what? Citizen advocate.
It's basically an advocate, and that's basically the heart of the program. Quite often, when you have a loved one in a nursing facilities are wonderful places. They can be wonderful places, but they're not perfect and they're not home. So there's sometimes the issues that arise between the resident and maybe some issues in the staff. Maybe their breakfast is coming cold every morning, and they've tried to resolve it with the dietitian and with the social workers and the nurses involved, but nothing. It's just not happening. So a lot of times, what you could do is contact our office at 610-478-6500 and you would get the intake department, and we would ask you what the issues were, and then we would do a referral to one of our ombudsmen, who would then contact the consumer to find out, first of all, if they would want us to be involved. As in most of our programs, it's consumer-driven. Maybe the daughter called us, and she was concerned about mom. And that could be and we encourage the daughter to call, but we will advocate for the consumer with the consumer's permission to try to come to a resolution to any issue that's happening in a nursing facility, in a personal care home, or with home health agencies.
Right. And even though you used a very, I guess, not as serious as some may think, issue. For individuals who are residing in a nursing facility. But then it may be things that are a little more serious. It might be something as though maybe medications aren't being properly distributed, or or something like that.
A call bell not being answered.
Exactly. But all residents should know that posted on every floor in a facility are posters that tell them how to contact their local ombudsman.
Absolutely.
So they can also do that from looking at those those communications and posters that are located throughout the facilities within Berks County. And at this time we have a little over 50 facilities, whether they're skilled nursing facilities. We have about 13 skilled nursing facilities. We have one licensed assisted living facility, and the rest of them are personal care boarding homes. The other program that we have is the Nursing Home Transition Program. I think this is a great segue as we're talking about facilities, Diane, to talk about the Nursing Home Transition Program.
Well, actually with Nursing Home Transition, this is a program that's designed for individuals that have been placed in a nursing facility, and it appeared that it was going to be a long-term situation, that they would remain there the remainder of their life with no chance of returning home. With the Nursing Home Transition Program, there are individuals that are identified as being in the facility at least 6 months, okay, if not longer. There have been individuals that have been in facilities for years, that plans have been made and they have been successfully transitioned back to the community and are now receiving community services. Not only is it's a happy day for them, but it's also cost effective.
Yes, yeah, it is. We have individuals that, we keep talking about the resident or the consumer, but we also have some dedicated individuals that may be family members, neighbors, friends, or whatever, who are caregivers. And caregivers, they need different forms of relief as well. Some of them being the many support groups that are throughout the county, and you can go out to our website and see where those support groups are, and what nights and days of the week that they take place and the times. But also we have a family caregiver support program that may help to offset some of the cost of some of the services of the programs, of some of the things that people have to go into their pocket for. And that is actually through one of our contracted service providers. One of the two of you can talk about whichever one, our family caregiver support program, which then will lead us into another program that is one of my favorite ones too.
Okay, the family caregiver support program at the present time is administered by the Berks Visiting Nurse Association, and statistically speaking, at any given time we have approximately 100 individuals that are on that program. The focus is really on the caregiver. It's designed to give emotional support, some financial relief by reimbursing people on an individual basis for services and supplies. And we typically that program has remained pretty even as far as the numbers of people that participate. But what we have attributed that to is the fact that many of the people that start out on the Family Caregiver Support Program also then get transferred over into the Aging Waiver Program.
Right, right. And did we talk a little bit about our grandparents raising grandchildren?
Well, and actually we have a somewhat limited funding, okay, for grandparents raising grandchildren. And this is a program that has been designed as, you may be aware, there are individuals that today are being raised by their grandparents. And there is, again, need for some financial assistance, and there is a reimbursement to give to these individuals.
Okay. That pretty much sums up the majority of our programs tonight. Of course, we have our senior center programs that are throughout the county that are that we fund, 6 of them through Berks Encore. We have one through the Hispanic Center, one through Boyertown Area Multi-Services, and our most non-traditional one through Family First Resource Center, which is a senior center without wills. That's where the senior center, senior services and nutrition programs go out to the community several times a month. For any of this information that we've discussed today, do not hesitate to call 610-478-6500 or visit us at 633 Court Street, County Services Center, 8th floor. Thank you this evening for joining us.
Thank you.